First Violins, we are going to talk about Rhapsody in Blue. There is a lot of stuff going on in this piece, so we'll kind of digest it all and kind of break it apart, talk about some fingering ideas and reminders and rhythms as we go through. So the very first thing that you see in your part is this giant glissando from lower F natural up to the higher F natural. There's a couple of different ways that you can do this. The first way is to start in first position, low 2 F natural, and then slide up on the A string to third position like this. Okay, not as big of a glissando, but there's still that slide in there. The other way to do this is to slide all the way up the D string. All the way up there, okay? Okay, and it's not a lot of time, it's only one beat. You've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you choose which way that you would like to do that. After you land on that higher half note F sharp, you can then take that bow lift and jump back down into first position to play the E flat, D flat triplet. So here's one way of doing it, sliding into third position. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the other way is sliding all the way up into whatever position that is on the D string. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you try both ways and see what works for you in that section as we go on. We've got the triplet rhythm, we've got all of those carets. On top of the notes, those are to play with a really strong bow. There's lots of articulations in this piece all over the place. Make sure you're watching out for the accidentals that are everywhere. Right away in measure 3, we've got A flat, B flat, natural, C, E flat, D flat, low 3. Okay, lots of different notes going on as we go on. We're over on the G string. Watch out for the articulation here. We've got staccato and accents. 1, 2, 3, same thing again. 2, 3, 4, 1. Fermata. Make sure you watch for that fermata so when you go no to go on to the next measure. 2, 3, 4, and it says to stagger your bow changes as needed, so just make sure you're not changing bows at the same time as the person next to you. And then you'll watch for the next measure. Now we're at measure 15, where it says boldly. We've got 3 flats in our key signature now: B flat, E flat, and A flat. So as we go through this, make sure you're playing low 4s on the A string for E flat, low 4s on the D string for A flat. And at 15, if I were to take it slowly, you could play it with me, it would go like this. 3, 4, 1. 1, lift. C flat again is going to be like a super duper low 2 because it's C flat is the same thing as B natural. So if I'm starting at measure 16, low 3, super low 2, low 1 for B flat, low 3 for G flat, now we are at the next section, measure 19. We're starting out in first position. We have added a flat. Now we have D flat added to our key signature. 19 goes like this. And 1. Up, up. Now we're at measure 21. After that extra measure that was added in your part, now we're going to shift. We're going to put this in fourth position. So you're going to put first finger on that A flat. And that way you can stay in fourth position for the next 4 measures. It goes like this. 1, 2, 1, 3. I didn't even have to change strings or do any string crossings. Now I'm over to the G string, staying in fourth position for this D flat. Now I'm going to put a second finger on that E flat, or that E natural that I just played. And then I go back to fourth position for the next measure on that D flat. I recommend trying this out in first position so that you can hear the notes that you are playing. For example, this is measure 22, 23. Here's measure 24. That way I know the notes that I'm listening for, and I can think about the space in between them, the intervals. And then when I try to go back and put it up in position over on the G string, I know what to listen for, and I can adjust my fingers if I hear that it's not correct. Here's that D flat. Back to D flat. Hear it, the easier it will be. Try that a couple of times on your own. And now I'm going to play those 2 measures with the slurs. Here's my D flat. And 1. And 1. Try that over and over again. Listen so that you know what you're listening for. Now we're at measure 25 in Rhapsody in Blue. We're going to start in that third measure of that where we come in, starting on the and of 3. We're going to go at a little slower tempo, and watch out for this forcefully section at 29 with those little carrots again that we're really going to play really strong. So let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3. And 1. Watch your notes. A flat, C natural. Hold, 2. Now it's a tremolo. Make sure you're really relaxed. See if you can see my hand and my wrist. Okay. Fingers, wrist is bent because I'm out at the tip of the bow. Okay, so watch out for that tremolo. Watch carefully so you know when to cut that off and you don't have a little tremolo solo. Now we're at the 35 section. So when we have this first triplet starting on E flat on B4, I suggest putting this in second position. Now, don't say, oh, second position. Okay, second position. You can put a third finger on that E flat because we don't want to have too many string crossings because this goes kind of quickly and it's a syncopated rhythm. So we've got 3, 2, 1. 1 for the F natural on D string. 4 for the F natural on the A string. This is how we prevent that string crossing over to E string. Low 2 for that D flat on the A string. Back to 1 on the D string. I didn't even have to lift it up. 3rd finger for A flat. 2nd finger on G string for C. Here's how that sounds all put together. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here's that same thing again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you don't even have to shift. The next one, I messed around with this one. I think it's best to start in first position. During that open A, go to 2nd position so that we can do that same F to F octave again without having to do a string crossing. But put a 3rd finger on the E flat. Sorry. That's me checking to make sure I'm playing in tune. After that E flat in 2nd position, you can go back down to 1st position for the last 3 notes, F, C, B flat. Okay, here's how that sounds starting in 1st position. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here's that same thing again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, going on to the next section, which is not too complicated. Right now, we're just in this 1 flat key signature. Watch out for your quarter note triplets that you have in measure 48. Triplet, triplet. Make sure you're keeping that steady beat in your head. As we move forward, the next tricky stuff happens at 55. The rhythm on its own is kind of tricky. You've got and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. Excuse me, I said that rhythm wrong. Let me try that again. And 2 and 3 E and 4 and. There you go. Hopefully you caught me. That's 55. That's that rhythm. Now, the fingering, I'm going to suggest that when you're going between C natural and C flat, that you're sliding with 2nd finger. It would look like this. That way, 1st finger is ready for that B flat down there, and it's a quick note, so it's kind of nice to just make that quick little slide down there. The same thing in measure 56. You're going to slide from B flat to B natural on that 1st finger. So those 2 measures will look like this. And 1. Okay, that's those 2 measures sliding on the quick notes, the 16th notes. It helps that it's under a slur, so you can make it smooth. As we go on, I'll play from measure 55. We've got E flats sliding to E naturals. You can keep that under 4th finger. E flat to E natural. 1 to 1. Okay, we're going to keep going at 59. We've got some more flats going on. Watch out for those. Here's 59, nice and slow, and 1. 4th finger. That happens again. Watch out for where I have 4th finger kind of hovering and ready for that A flat, for that string crossing. And then watch out a little later at like 66, where the 1st D, I use a 4th finger. The 2nd D, I use open D. That's just kind of for ease of moving around. So here is measure 63. 4 and 1. 67. Lift your bow. Okay. That's not too difficult, but now we're at 74. Okay, when we get to 74, I'm looking at this A flat to A natural stuff that's going on. One way that you could do this would be hop from 3 to high 3, 3-finger C, to high 3 for that A flat. Okay, so that's one way. That's 3 to high 3. Okay, or you could slide with 4th finger, which is a little bit tricky because you have to reach quite a bit farther. So experiment with those 2 fingering options and see which one you like better and can play it most successfully. So 74 repeats itself. Check in your parts and check with the score to see if that first note in 75 is an E flat or an E natural. It's a little bit confusing in the part, so make sure that you know the notes that you are playing. As we go on, take a look at 83. That'll be next. First violins, we're going to continue on at measure 83 in Rhapsody in Blue. Now, as you look at this, the notes are not complicated. We've got A natural, we've got B flat, we've got a couple of A flats in there, but note-wise, it's not too bad compared to some other sections. What is tricky is the rhythm. So make sure that you know where your strong beats are. Strong beats are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of syncopation, so we really need to be steady on where beat 1 is especially, and then where our rhythms fit into those other strong beats. One thing that you can do to help yourself, especially in some of the measures that are confusing to look at, I did this here in measure 83, you can put some slash marks where the strong beats are. I labeled where beats 1, 2, 3, and 4 fall in line with the rhythm that we have in measure 83. I don't recommend doing that for every measure because then it gets really busy and difficult to read and look at, but some of those tricky measures, like the first couple of measures in this section, to help you figure out where those strong beats are. So rather than playing this measure over and over and over again, or this section over and over and over again, I recommend that you count out the rhythm. Once you know where those strong beats are, it'll be easier to do that. So if I were to count out, for example, the first 4 measures at 83 at this section, it would sound like this. Ready, go. 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 4, 1 and 3 and or you could say triplet, triplet. Okay, so as you go through, figure out what those rhythms are. It's a rhythm that repeats itself, though pretty much that there's a 4-measure section, 3 to 4 measure section that repeats itself over and over again. So you'll get used to it, but you have to be really comfortable with the rhythm in this section. Okay, as we go on, let's go on to the section at number 98. This gets just a little bit interesting with the finger pattern. The first one works out really nicely in first position. This is measure 99. Really save your bow for that long slur. The next measure works better in third position. The next, we go back down to first position. Okay, so try out those finger patterns. If you shift from first to third and then back to first, the finger pattern stays the same, which helps you stay consistent. And then you don't have to worry about string crossings for that middle one. Okay, as we go on, 108, to avoid too much shifting, you can just stay in first position. We just have to think about all of our flats. We're in a new key signature again. We've got 3 flats going on. That's a nice slow section. This would be a wonderful place to try out some developing vibrato. Even on those quarter notes, if you can, to start with a nice kind of slow, wide vibrato in this romantic section as it's labeled. Okay, as we move on, the transition to the pizzicato at 121 is quick. So you can do the pizzicato by just lifting up your first finger from your bow. Okay, so think about that. I wasn't playing the right notes, but think about how can you still be accurate and careful even if you don't really have time to come here. What you could do after you pluck that low B natural, switch. Okay, so think about when you have time, especially to be accurate. So start out with this, and then later on you can switch to a more comfortable pizzicato bow hold. Okay, as we go on to 125, thankfully we have that half note pizzicato to switch to arco. And I forgot my A flat. Don't forget your A flats. Okay, we're still in this 3 flat section: G, A flat, B flat, B flat. Here's the rhythm at 125. 1 and 2 and 3. Oh, I said the wrong number, didn't I? 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and Okay, so watch out for those triplets. That's what this sounds like at 125. Okay, comfortable to stay in first position the whole time. Watch out for those carrots that are coming up to really dig in with your bow. Okay, to really make it forceful. That's the kind of sound that we're going for. As we go on, we're almost to the end. You have almost made it. There's so much stuff in this piece. 129. We've got beats 2 and 4 happening. We've taken away 2 flats. We've got B flat in the key signature. But of course, we have all these accidentals. If we were to start at measure 131, make sure this is just like we had in a different section where you're getting 4th finger prepared ahead of time, so it's ready to go for that A flat. Slide 3 to 3. Okay, and as you get through that section, that's just like we had before, so it'll feel familiar. As you get to the end, make sure that you're giving it all you got here at the end where it says boldly. We've got those carrots again. Think about the dynamics at the end. Really watch for your counting and your cutoffs at the end there. Use your bow to achieve those forte piano dynamics, starting closer to the bridge for the forte, then bringing it closer immediately to the fingerboard for the piano. Changing your bow, and we got the same thing again. Okay, using your point of contact to help you achieve those really diverse dynamics. All right, have fun practicing.